So welcome everyone to yeah. Please if your mic is on, please just turn it off. When like I think Vakoma, your mic is echoing. So we're going to be working on a website here. But and as we're working on it, we're going to be talking about different principles of web development as a whole. So working on this website is it looks like a simple website and looks like something we can get to. And let's see how we can get to do that. So I'm just going to be explaining different areas of the website and we'll be getting started. So I'm going to be drawing out a Scarlet Draw to explain different areas of the website. So this is just definitely um this is the layout of the website in general. This design we saw has this layout. Um it has the name of the person, it has the body, and has a call to action button and some links. We have like social media links here, like call links and so in a profile page, you need to have like different kinds of call to action. The most important call to action is the contact call to action. So in the website, when you visit different websites, you have call to action. So let's see what website has a very notable call to action. Can somebody name me an example of a website we can visit right now? Oh, let me see. Let me use example Doom Academy. So we land on it. Um, yeah. So, for example, Doom Academy website, it has a simple call to action button. It has this header here, but it has this call to action, start learning. So these buttons, links, things that just tell the user to do something are called call to actions. So we have this simple website. If I'm going to be, I want people to identify what they can see on the website. So let me see, let me call on Angela or Amanze. Can you identify what you can see on this particular website, like looking at this website, looking at this design?
Sorry, is it what I can see as in how?
Like what you can see, tell me what you can see, like can you see? Pictures, text, what can you see? Just explain what you can see on the website, like.
I can see the picture is all about um kind of profile of the person's name, what the person does, and how to contact the person, then email, then the picture, and then social media handles.
Okay. Yeah, so that is it. So I'm going to just explain different areas and elements of this website. So this website has it's like if you look at this website, it looks like it has like three main sections. It's supposed to have a header, which we're going to add, but let's just go through it. So we have what we call the content area, and which is this part where you have even the image and the text. This forms the content. The image is part of the content. This is part of the content also. So you have like the body and you have the footer. So normally in websites, normally have headers because you need to have like somewhere needs to know what like the name of the website and what the website is all about. Um but this design doesn't. But we're going to add it to our own design. You have in this content, it has been divided into two parts. You have the text content where you have different text and call to action, and you have the image of the person, that's the picture. I'm going to be seeing how to do that in making a website. So to get started, in building websites, the way to get started by building website is by having the right tools to get started with. So um, when you're making a website, you write down codes, and that when you write down the code, you write down the code in what you call HTML. And when the HTML goes through the browser, and the browser transforms that HTML that it sees there, like translates it into the design you see. So everything you see here is HTML. So I'm going to display to you what HTML is all about. So if you're in a laptop and you're visiting like the websites like by any means, if you press inspect, you're going to see something here showing all the elements in this website. So this website has a couple of elements. This is what you call the HTML. All this part where it calls elements, this is what you call the HTML. Then how it has this color and how it has all this looks is what you call CSS. So CSS is the looks of the website. So I'm going to be, as we go on to the website, as we go on to building it, we're going to be explaining it more. We're going to be understanding it more. But I just want to like spend like the first 10 minutes trying to like get you guys started on understanding what this is all about. So you have the HTML, it's any different content. So if I come here and I tag this, what you have here is a paragraph, a HTML tag that is called P. P stands for paragraph, but we're going to look into what that means and everything. I can see the text inside, exactly this text. If I come here and I say, instead of unlock, I'll say reload. You're going to see that it's going to change here. If you guys notice that it changed here. Let me do it in somewhere that is bigger. Let me just inspect somewhere that is bigger. So I'm going to just do like the where. I'll say from, change this to from. I can see now that it has changed, and even the space between it also. I'm going to add more space. So you can see now, so from, and if I want the website to go back to normal, I just have to reload it and it's going to go back to normal. So when I reload, it's going to go back to normal. So for emphasis sake, I'm going to just reload this guy and I'm going to put a header here about the title. So you can write anything here. I'm also going to put, so you can write anything here. You can write your name here as we're going to build the website, as we're going to get started. Now, for different elements you see here, you have what you call CSS. CSS is what gives you the color. So you can see now that this button is this particular color, the text is this particular size, it's thick, it's as thick as this, it has a particular size. This image you see it has curved corners, it's like the way it's arranged. That's what you call CSS. So CSS is used to arrange websites from one part, like used to arrange websites to make them look good. So we're going to work on all of that. I'm going to get started. First, before we get started, I'm going to just tell you what you need to use. So if you're getting into web development, you need to use the right tools. So to code in web development, you have something you call code editors. So a very good example of a code editor is what you call Visual Studio Code. For some reason now my network is not going well. I hope so that it goes. So you have this code editor, so I can just click on it to look more into it. So this Visual Studio Code. So if you're on your system, if you don't have this already, like if you have this, raise up your hand. If you have Visual Studio Code on your laptop, just signify with like with a wave, like with a wave here. You can see I've clicked a wave. If you have Visual Studio Code on your system, signify with a wave. Okay, Amaze has, Promise has. Okay, so the rest of you don't have. So you guys need to come here and install it for different systems. For Mac, there is a build for Mac, and you can see for like if you enter this website from Windows, you see for Windows, and if you're by any means using like Linux, which I'm not sure any of you are using, you're going to see it display Linux here. So Visual Studio Code is a simple code editor that is used for making different websites. So when you come here, you can come here and click on Visual Studio. You can click on download. So you download the stable build. When you download, you just go through the steps of downloading. Most of you have downloaded stuff in your system, maybe VLC or something, Microsoft Office or something like that. You downloaded something on your system. It's just the same. The steps are just the same. Just come here, click on download, and it's going to download. And this is what we're going to be working from. This is the part we're going to be working from. So I have it already open on my system, but I'm just going to quit for now. So I'm going to open it. So this is where you have the stuff. So this is how it looks like. When you come in for new, it's going to show you like something different. Like, well, this is how it looks like when you've been using it for a while. It's going to show you the recent projects you worked on. and some other things. Let me zoom in so you guys will see it now. Can you guys see this wall? I'm zoomed in now. Can you guys see it well? Can you guys see read what it's
Yes,
showing here?
I
So
can.
this is
I can.
what work for. Visual Studio Code is not the only code editor. There are different code editors out there. There is the newest one called is it Z? Z editor. I mean, yeah. So there's Red. There's a new one. There's Sublime Code. There's Sublime Text. Sublime is one of the first ones I used. For when I was doing one of the first code editors I used. The first ever code editor I used was actually what's the name? Notepad. And you can also write code on Notepad. But I won't advise it because one thing about Notepad is that it doesn't have syntax, it doesn't do syntax highlighting. Syntax highlighting is this colorful things you're seeing on your Visual Studio as you do this stuff. So I'm going to move this. Normally, if you see here, this sidebar is normally at the left. So I'm just going to go through fast what all this is. So this is the file explorer. This for searching. I don't think you guys need to know about the rest. These extensions, we're not doing anything that needs extensions. So do we need extensions for anything? Nope. We don't need extensions really. So okay, we need one extension, and that is live server. But we need one extension, and that is live server. So if you're in Visual Studio, you end up downloading it. You can click here and download live server. I already have it downloaded on my system, so there's no need for me to download it again. But live server is a very important like extension to have. But yeah, so you have when you come to this screen, you can see there are two different things. It tells you when you click on this Explorer button right here, you can see this Explorer button. Clicking on it on the sidebar, it tells me two different things. I can either open a folder and I can clone a repository. We're not working with GitHub now, so we're going to try to create a project in our local system at the moment. So we're going to open a folder. So it says open a folder. So it's going to say which folder am I trying to open. So I'm going to open a folder and I'm going to click on projects and I'm going to create a new folder. And I'm going to call it profile website. So you can call it any name you want to call it. So it's profile website. So I'm going to come here and create it, and I'm going to click on open. So when we open it, it's going to create a new workspace for us. So the workspace we're currently inside now is called profile website. So you can see now this is our workspace, and it's called profile website. So when you open a folder in VS Code, what it does is like creates a workspace for you to work with. So remember, what we're trying to do is that we're trying to create, sorry, wrong browser. We're trying to create this website that we see here. We're trying to create this website. We're trying to work on different aspects in it. So we're going to walk through, and what we're going to be looking at is using HTML and just CSS. That's just the primary thing we're going to be using, HTML and CSS, to build out the way this website is going to look like and way what people see when they're going to visit the website. I'm going to try, if we have enough time, I'm going to try to host it. So we're going to get started, and we're just going to create a simple HTML file. So if you're creating an HTML file, you can call it any name you want. But if you're going to host the site on a server, the first entry page that you're going to create, you're going to name it you're going to name it index.html. Why is named index.html is because servers, when you visit the website, so I'm going to explain what happens when you visit the website. So let me say this is a computer or somebody's device. Let me just say it's a computer. So I'm going to say this is a computer, and I'm going to say this computer is trying to visit the website. Let's say the website is trying to look for is looking for google.com. So I'm just going to type here. Sorry, I'm just going to type here www.google.com. So when you send a request, when you enter this thing from your browser, so I'm going to say like you go from your browser. So I'm just a computer browser. It sends a request. There are different things that are going here, but the short of it is I send a request, and that request goes to what you call a server, or it's like a server. Let's just call it a server. Now that server, where's my text now? Why are you not showing me text here? Oh, why is it black in color? I think it's still white now. Sure. Okay. So that server, this server is going to return, is going to process whatever information was getting. So you can either be requesting for a site, can be requesting for data, you can be requesting for different things from a server. Maybe when we go into like when we start, like when we have a web development code very well, you can see that a server can send different things back. But when the server comes, server returns back what you call the HTML and CSS and some other codes back to the browser, and the browser now processes this HTML and CSS and displays the site. So when you come to this thing, you now have a displayed site here that is now what you call, like, you now have a display site, and you now see the Google, you now see your google.com showing on your computer screen. So what you now see here, instead of these things that you see google.com, that's what you see when you visit the website. So for example, now if you click here, I'm just going to show you what happens now. So I'm going to go to network and I'm going to type on google.com. So when you click on google.com, you can see now it's making a request to google.com. We've received something back. So you can see now we've received something. There's a turn rate request that receives something back. And if you preview, how do we get a request that we did? If you preview, the response is there's a lot of, if you preview, it's HTML code. So you can see now it returned HTML code. The other codes here like JavaScript and so that it uses for different stuff. But if I just scroll down, it's just basically HTML code, like mostly HTML it returned. It's just that most of what we see here is this thing, but from the top, we already know it's HTML, it returned back to the user. So you can see the body, the style component, some other stuff, and some other things concerning the website. So you can see here it returned all this. And if you go to elements, you can see now that you can go through every single stuff here. You can go to this Google and see this an image actually, and see different elements on the website. So it returns HTML. When you click on this stuff, it goes to the server returns HTML there. And in order for the server to know what the first page to return, it looks for what you call the index.html file. So it looks for the index.html file. Whatever file is the index.html file. When you're going to a particular, like the land, like when you go to the first page of the website, like just go to the website without signifying the page you want to go to. The server will just say, okay, this guy didn't say the page he wants to go to, so he's probably looking for the front page of the website. So server now looks for where's the front page of the website? Where's the front page? What like at the front page of the website? So it now goes through and now finds the index.html and gets this index.html inside here, and that's what it sends to the browser in terms of HTML and CSS. It sends what the contents of this file to the browser. So what you see here is definitely the content of this file. So how do we check this? We can go to sources, and if you go to sources, you'll see what you call index. Can you see this index? This is what you call the index of HTML. So you can see what you call index, which is definitely this code we saw the first time. All this code here, you can see here, it's called index. So it returned the index.html back to the user. So that's what we're going to see here, and that's what we're seeing here. So I'm going to create something for in the first time. I'm going to just start something now. So in HTML, it's very simple to write HTML actually. It's not really that hard. So you have something you call tags. So HTML tags. I hope you guys are using your system because this is going to be very difficult to see if you guys are using a mobile device. But anyway, if you guys can come back to it because this is recorded and watch the YouTube video of it recorded in this thing. So I'm so used to creating class. I'm going to say H1. I'm going to say welcome to this website. And I'm going to save it. And now we've written our first code of HTML. So this is our first HTML code. I'm just going to zoom in more, so in case you cannot see it. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anybody have any questions so far? Are you guys following? Is everybody
Yes.
following?
Yes.
All right. So we have this index.html file showing here. This is our index.html file. we have this welcome to this website. This is the first content we're trying to show out here. So let's see how this is going to look like in the browser. So we're going to come to the browser. HTML was so easy. I'm going to go to where this thing is located. So I'm just going to go to where this file is located. And I think it's in my project folder. I'm going to open this, and I'm going to open this with my browser. So I'm just going to drag and drop this on my browser. So you can see now, you can see the content of this website. Welcome to this website, which is cool, which is very cool. But we can actually do something better. Instead of having to copy this, and one thing about this is that if we make a change, like if I say welcome to this page, it doesn't show immediately on our browser. I see we don't see the change immediately on our browser. Does anybody have a question? Somebody asking a question. Okay, zoom in your screen. All right. So we don't see the page immediate, like we don't see the page immediate, we don't see the immediate effect of the change we did on our browser. Does not show. So we have to now reload to see this is welcome to this page. But if we don't want to reloading all the time, we just want to see immediate feedback. What we will do is that we're going to click here. So we're going to remember this extension I was talking about called Live Server. Live Server. What's going on? ROI fetch me. But I have this already installed now. Where is my live server for God's sake? Live server. You know, remember this extension called Live Server? This is the extension like I told you to install. So in case you come here, you just come to extensions. This thing that look like boxes. Just click on it and you install the live server. So that's what it is. So I'll just come here. So we're already currently in this repository, we're currently in this directory. So this is what you call a directory. The current working workspace you're working on is what you call a directory. The folder in which you're working on, like you're typing your code in, where all your code is at the moment is called a directory. So I think it's something that you guys might want to note, because sometimes to be like some people use these terms and sometimes to be confused. What is directory? It's just the folder where all your code is located at. So I'm just going to click on go live. So if I click on go live, it's going to show a live representation of this website on this thing. So I can just come here, paste this here, and then show exactly what we have here. So I can still click here and still the same thing. Like if I remove this index.html, whatever, it's still going to display this because it's going to get the index. Although we have a server, running. What this is a server. So we created a local server. So let me explain what happened now before I rush. So what this did is I created a local server to run on your system. So it's what you call is a local host. Like normally call it local host. So and it's represented by this IP address. So every website is represented by an IP address. Website won't just return IP address to you. They're all represented by IP addresses. So you have what you call 127.0.0.1. That's the an IP address of the local server. Normally, for any website you have, the numbers you coming after it determines the ports for it. Normally, for any website that comes to your site, it's just based on an IP address. What you're doing is that you're requesting to an IP address. And if you do cloud computing, like if you go into things like cloud computing, if you're working in something like AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, and some other cloud computing stuff, it will be IP addresses that sometimes you have to ping to check if like a service is going well or service is working fine. So this is what you call an IP address, and there are different ports. I'm just going to show you on that thing. I can just come here and instead of typing this I can just say instead of this I can just say localhost, and it's going to still go. So if I see localhost, it still went. Do you understand what I mean? So localhost is still the same thing as 121.0. All this stuff. Computer still understands it as localhost. So sometimes if you're too lazy to remember the numbers, you can just say it's localhost. You can type here. But I'm just going to close this for now. Let's use the 121.0. This stuff, of course, trying to be nerdy. So I'm just going to change this to welcome to website. And I'm going to create another element. So I'm going to just show you how to distance. I'm just going to say, so we're going to work on headings. So we're trying to add contents. Don't worry, we'll soon work on the site, but I just want to explain what we're adding to the site, different stuff we're adding to the site. So I'm going to say this is heading one. This is heading 2. I'm just going to repeat this. Don't worry how I did this. When we're going to like a more a more in-depth class, I'm going to be explaining every single stuff, including shortcuts I use to you guys. But I'm just going to, because of want of time, I'm just going to be showing you all of this. So if I come here, this is supposed to reload. Why didn't it reload? Why did my life reload not work? Let me see if so normally it's supposed to be a live reload, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and divide this site into 2 parts. Oh, live reload will not work without a head and a body tag, obviously. Don't worry, we're going to get into that. It's complaining about something, and I get if I save this, it's going to show that error again. Live reload will not work without the head and the body part. So I understand why it's not live reloading, and we're still going to get into that. But you can see now what we have is different levels of content. So you have a H1 content which says like this is the welcome to the website. So it's the biggest heading text. So when you come to a website, you see the biggest heading text you see there. There's normally a H1 element. So I'm going to explain concepts now in web development, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. This is what you call a tag. A tag is signifies an element. So it signifies the start of an element and also the close of an element. So one part of this is what you call this tag. So when we say this H1, what we've done is that I don't want this to close. Let me close this. This thing. What we did is that we've created an opening tag. So this opening tag, what you expect after this is any content related to this. If I save this, I don't know if this thing automatically my VS Code automatically completes my code for me. Let me just say I don't want this to happen. Let me just I don't want this to happen. Let me just close this with something empty. Okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. The way is auto close tag. I have another element because I work in I design websites. So I have this element that auto closes this extension that auto closes my tag for me, auto rename tag. It's not enabled. So what's going on? I'm sure it's VS Code. Nah, it's VS Code that's doing this. So normally, let me just do this. Obviously, this will fail, and I'm going to reload my website. So now, it thinks that this is the H1 tag. Obviously, it's showing me an error here. My prettier is showing me an error here. So another thing you can have is prettier. It just makes your this thing finer. I think I'll just drop recommendation in the YouTube this thing. So prettier makes your code, it organizes your code so it looks way better, especially it makes it readable as you're writing it. So you can now see now that I wrote this, and since the closing tag was not a H1 tag, it was just something else, it didn't know that this H1 has ended. Do you understand? It doesn't know where this H1 is ended. So no matter what, anything I type here, it's still going to display H1. It's still going to display H1. It's still going to display H1. Like no matter what I type, no matter how much I type it, it's still going to display H1. Obviously, it's complaining that I'm doing something wrong. But this is it. So if you want this H1 to end, what you have to do is now add a closing tag. So when you add a closing tag, it's going to signify that this H1 has ended. So if I come here and just say write any other content after this, it has ended. So I'm just going to reload this. So you can see now this SJJK, all this kind of stuff has ended. So this is what you call a heading tag. These are what you call different sizes of heading tags, and they have different sizes. Now, the completion of from year to year is what you call an HTML element. So HTML element is element wrapped within 2 tags, right? Wrapped between 2 tags. So you have a content in the website that is wrapped between 2 tags. So you have this is heading 6. it is wrapped between two tags, this H6 opening tag and this slash H6 closing tag. So a closing tag starts with a slash. Are you following? Then the tag you actually, the name of the tag you actually created. So you have this H6 closing tag, which is this, which shows this element. So you have different elements. So what you're seeing on the site is what you call elements. So the representation of the code you've written on this on your, in your HTML, the representation, how they appear on your site is what you call elements. Are you following? Elements. So this is what you call an element in your site. So it's going to be important as we go on, but I just want to close all of this and let's create this site the proper way. So a good way of creating the website is by doing one thing. So I'm just going to put this guy out here. So we're going to see the title of this our website. And we're going to go back to the design, but I just want to go through here. We don't have so much time and I want to see if I can. So I'm going to create a head and I'm going to, so the head is what you just gives the browser like basic information about your a site, is what site search engines go to read about to get different information about your site. You can add different things to your listing. If you want SEO, you want to optimize SEO, you want to optimize indexing, you want your site, you want to create backlinks, you want to do all this kind of stuff. You want to import you want to import like you want to import fonts, you want to import different codes from external sources. You use the head tag to do that. It's best for doing that. So I'm going to come here and say title now. So you're going to see what this does now. So I'm going to create a title tag. You obviously have this head tag that opens and closes. So we call it parent element because it has an element inside. And an element with an element inside, it's with another element inside it is what you call a parent element. So this element has another element inside it. This is what you call a parent element. And I like Visual Studio because it also explains what it does. So you can read this later. I'm not going to like read it. So I'm just going to say let me just say Adam Smith's profile. Let me just say Emeka Allison's profile. Emeka Allison's profile. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to reload this, obviously. And now you can see now that the title of this site, if you look at this tab, the title of the site have changed. Can you guys notice it? If you guys notice it, just send me a, let me see. How do I go back to where we were? Yeah, that's it. Let me just make this guy bigger. Send me a this thing. Okay, you guys can see it. That's good. I'm just going to go back to where I was and my code. All right, so we have this title tag here. We have this here. Now we're going to create a body tag, and the body tag represents the contents of your site, whatever is going to be seen, the visible aspect of your site. So the head is the invisible aspect, is one that gives information about your site to the browser, to search engines, to all that stuff. That's what the head represents, the metadata of the document, collection of metadata, all the stuff. Like when you take a picture contains metadata like the date it was taken, what device it was taken with, all this kind of stuff. But you don't see it in the picture. The picture displays to you your face. You don't care about like where it will, like the camera position, the camera type, the device name, all this kind of stuff. You don't care about it. But in that picture file you have on your phone contains all those information about that particular picture, the date it was taken, the camera it was taken with, the camera settings, where filters were used or not. It's going to explain everything. So that's why you see when people lie on social media, some people go and check the metadata of the picture they snapped to check about like different information about them. So you have the head, you have the body tag, and I'm just going to create a H1 here. And I'll just say content. Just going to type here content, and we have this here. So we have content. So now we're going to work on the design that we have already. So I'm just going to drag this. Let me see. I'm just going to copy this. Don't copy it. I want to drag it. Drag. I'll just drag it to here. No, not back here. Uh, no, it's I'm just going to reduce your size a bit. Drag you here. So we're going to create this site. I'm just going to make it bigger. And obviously, we just have this as half. It's going to create this site. I'm just going to make you half again. So we're going to attempt to create this website based on what we see here. And as we go on, I'm going to be explaining different aspects. Yeah, we have different elements here to go with. I'm going to explain different aspects. So I'm just going to clear everything I did here, and I'm going to do something now. I'm going to press the tab. I'm going to press Shift explanation. So if I press the exclamation button, Visual Studio has an extension by default called Emmet. Emmet is used for generating HTML code. And it's one thing, if you want to start a HTML document, it's a very fast way to start the HTML document. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on tab. There are different things here, different metadata, but the most important thing we need here is this element. So I'm going to say Emeka Allison's profile, which you see here, and I'm going to add the content here. So I'm going to create a header, and in this header, I'm going to create a H1 inside it, and which is the heading, and I'm going to call it Emeka Allison. So, why is it trying to translate? My language is already English, so we have this thing. So you have the HTML tag, which wraps everything. You have the header tag, you have the body tag. And when I clicked on it, when I typed Emeka Allison, it showed Emeka Allison. So we're going to try and create all these things in the website. So we have the heading tag, does not create this part. So we have this part here, and let this thing not deceive you. This may seem as if these are separate things altogether, but they are still the same. They are still wrapped in the same. They are still in the same. They are the same lines. So that means they are in the same component. They have the same thing wrapping around them. So we're going to create something that is going to wrap around them, and that's what you call a main. So a main is like is the many parts of the content of your that has the content of your website. So this stuff we have here, we have one section here, we have this section here. What is wrapping around these two guys, what we call a main. So if we have a more in-depth class, I'm going to explain this more further, but let's just go on with this. So we have a main, and I'm going to create the first section. So I'm going to say section 1, this is section, and I'm going to this is like the first section. And the first section has different elements we have here. So we have, if we look at this, we have a H1 element, we have a paragraph element, and we have a button here. So I'm going to try and replicate all of this. And it's very simple, especially if you have Canva, it's very simple to represent. If you're trying to replicate something from a design that is already designed, it's very simple. All you just need to do is to create dev mode. Okay, it's for paid teams. All right. So I'm just going to come here. I'm going to copy the text here. I'm going to create a H1. I'm going to paste this here. So this Emeka Allison. So if we come to this content here, we have Emeka Allison showing here. You can see that this H1 here is smaller than this H1, even though they are the same H1s. You can notice that this one is smaller than this one here. Do you understand what I mean? This is what you call hierarchy, like hierarchy of headers. Like the header is more hierarchical to the main. Do you understand? It's more hierarchical to the main. So the browser prioritizes the content of the header higher and makes it like show out more. That's why you have this H1 bigger than what's in the section. So now we're going to create we're going to add another distance. So we have a paragraph. I'm going to create a paragraph tag. So this is what you call a paragraph tag. It's just used for typing text, different types of text in the website. So this is a paragraph tag. And I'm just going to copy the content of this site. So I'm just going to copy the content here. So you have the content showing here. I'm just going to click here to copy it from here. And I'm going to come to the design. I'm going to come to our code and I'm going to paste it here. If we come to our HTML, you can see exactly what we copied. The same content, everything is showing here for us to see. Just going to close this for now because we're working on this. So we have this content, contact me, all this stuff, and I'm going to create a button, but I'm going to make it, let me just make it a button for now. Should I make it a button? Let me just make it an A tag. So I'm going to make this a href tag. I'm going to make it an anchor tag. There's a reason why I'm making it an anchor tag. I will explain later. Because I want them to be able to click this and to go to their email. We're going to work on that. It's going to send them an email, like try and trigger an email to be sent to them. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste this in. So I have a content here. I will come to this website. We have an anchor tag. We have this with the bot. We have this clickable link that says send me an email. And we have this element here. And so we have this picture. So we have the next section, which contains this image that we're going to be working with. So we have this image here. And well, I can't actually download this image. Interesting. Oh, I can export it actually. So I'm going to export the image. It's going to be in a folder. I'm just going to look for where it is. I'm going to copy it to our working directory. And I'm going to show you how to work with images right now, because that's another ball game on its own. So I'm going to projects, I'm going to a profile website. I'm just going to paste this image here. So this image, once we've gotten it from here, you paste where the same folder where your website is. I'm going to rename this to profile photo. You can use your own profile photo. You don't need to use like somebody else's picture. Obviously, this is not me. I don't look like this. I'm more handsome than this in real life. So this on our section, when we create on our section, this is where we'll have an image section. And I'm going to add an image element. So we have this image copied there. So if you come here, if you come to your VS, your VS Code, it's going to show an image here. And you can see this is an image. It's a low fidelity image, but we'll manage it. So we have an image tag. I've not explained what image tag is, but image tags are used for adding images to your website. So image tags work a little bit differently. So image tags have what you call attributes in them. So I've not really explained attributes, but what an attribute is something that actually like gives extra functionality to an element, like makes it have like some extra, do some extra things. So that's what an attribute is. So it adds like some extra qualities to your website. So image tags need attributes. So you have different important attributes that image tag needs. One attribute is called source, SRC, which is source. This gets where the image is in your like there in like where the location of the image and that is going to show on the browser. So I'm going to click the source is profile image.png. I don't need to type this and I'll see alternate. Then you have alternative text, this alt ALT, which stands for alternative text, which says profile. I'm going to say profile image. And once about image tag is that they are self-closing, so they close themselves. I'm just going to close this, and nothing happens here. It closes by itself. And when I come to my when I come to the website we're building, you can see now we have this thing. Everything is coming together very nicely. We have all of this. It's looking very nice, and we still have like more time to go. Let's see what we can do in the meantime. So now we're done with these two guys. We're done with adding this content. It didn't really take us time. It didn't really take us time. You can see that with the code we've written, we've been able to have almost all these elements that are currently in this website on our site. So we have the text, we have our header, which is an extra thing we added on our own. We have this body of text. We have this information here, which is clinical about the user. And now we're going to be adding um the um the elements, the social media links. So I'm just going to add this. So we're going to create a footer. And in this footer, I'm going to create a footer. Now in this footer, I'm going to be adding the links, the links. So I'm going to just create a, so what you do is that this is a list of links, actually. This is actually a list of links. I hope there was like, maybe next time work on recipes website. So you understand how list really work and really appreciate them. So like list is actually like to list things out, but as when we work on the recipes website for our next project, we're going to understand that more in depthly. But we're going to have I'm just going to create an unordered list, which is called UL. You guys can just be following along for now. In due time, as time goes on, you'll be understanding things as time goes on. But let's just be following along. So I'm just going to say LI, which is the list LMM item, and we'll say A, which is the link I want it to be. So we have different stuff here. We have this element, which is the properties. What is it like? What is this? I'm just going to import that as SVG. So I'm going to export. These are different images of. I'm just going to say Facebook. I'm not going to take all of them. X, Facebook, and let me just take Instagram and X, Instagram and GitHub. I'm tired. Maybe X, Instagram, WhatsApp, and GitHub. I don't need to take all of them. So I'm just going to take Instagram. I'm going to take WhatsApp, Sports. I'm going to take GitHub. So we have all of this, and what's going on? Where's the WhatsApp? On WhatsApp didn't come. That I installed WhatsApp. Oh, it came in a zip. That's your business. WhatsApp. Business up. Hmm, interesting. Oh no, no wahala. Ba wahala. Ba wahala. I'm just going to copy all the images we just took now. Copy them, and I'm going to paste them here in our project folder. I'm just going to paste them like this. Anyhow they come. Go to the downloads again. Go to this image. Go to this. Copy this. This is the guy I need. I don't need all the mini surrender. Come here, profile website. I'm just going to paste it in. And we come to our site, we're going to see all the images we just fetched. So the images we just fetched are listed here. The SVG is a code, which I was preferring that all of them comes with SVG, but let's just leave it like that. The first link is our X link, that's our Twitter. So I'm just going to call this Twitter link. So I'm just going to add like, I'm just going to copy this code here. So what you can do is I can actually copy SVGs as code. These images, you can copy them straight as code into your website and they'll appear just like the way they look like in design. So you can see now that you have this X here, just like almost like the way it looks like in the design. You have this X looking nice and ready to go. Now we have the other images to work on, to work with. So we have WhatsApp. So what was the order of the image itself in the first place? Let me see, what was the order of the images? We had Instagram first, then WhatsApp, then GitHub. So I'm going to work with Instagram first, WhatsApp, and GitHub. So I'm just going to come here, repeat this line. Yeah. So I'm going to repeat these elements like a couple of times. So I'm just going to remove this guy here and replace it with an image tag. And I'll say it's an image tag. I'll replace it with, and I'll say the source is Instagram. And I'll say the alternative text is Instagram, Instagram logo. I'm going to replace this guy also here with WhatsApp. So I'm going to say image, SLC is WhatsApp, PNG, and I'll say the alternative text is WhatsApp logo. Then I'm going to replace the last one, that's Twitter. We will not create anything for Twitter, so I'm just going to repeat this guy. And I'm going to change this to Twitter. R1 Twitter. No suggestions. RI. Okay, no, it's not Twitter. What is it? GitHub. MDI GitHub. I'm just going to change this GitHub logo. So we have the links here in our footer, which is cool. We've gone a long way. So right now with HTML, we need to present everything we have in this website here. The image, the text, the name, all this kind of stuff. We're going to present it here. Now let's work on making this look more like designs. We're going to work on making this look more like design. So one thing I noticed about this design is that it has a kind of font. So I'm just going to try and see what I can do about that. So I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to introduce you guys to CSS. So CSS is a great way to actually style your website. It's what you use to make the website look beautiful. So let's imagine that HTML is like let's say it's like a cake. The cake you just baked. If you want the cake to be sweet, you want the cake to like look nice for people to like eat the cake. Um why is my other Chrome? I'm looking for my other Chrome. Okay, here you are. So if you want the cake to look nice for people you're making the website for, you're making it for, you have to, I'm just trying to like declutter my entire system. A lot of stuff. My front. Clutter everything. All right, so just the most important folders are showing, which is important. So it's the most important folders. What I'll just be doing is I'll just be minimizing this guy for now. Cluttering. All right, so this is the design we want. I want it to look more like, we want this guy to look like this guy. So what we'll do that is that by doing we're going to the CSS. So the way of doing CSS is by adding a style tag or even coming here. So one way of doing CSS is by coming here and writing style. And this is one way of doing CSS. So this is what you call inline styling, inline CSS. So CSS is just adding different qualities to your website. So you can add it using this attribute. Every element has an attribute of style. So style is a way of adding like different styles, having like different colors, shapes, any kind of thing, size, all this kind of stuff to your website. So we're going to try and do that. So you have what you call color, is a CSS style. So let's see the color is, let me just make the color red because red stands out. Color red. I think this works. Hope this works. Why is it saying red pen? Did I do anything wrong? Sorry, how do you inline style again? Okay, no space. Same thing I did. I don't know what happened, but you can see now the color of this is red, and you can see that the color of this is red. I can make this, let's say, let's do something else. I can say font style, say italic. I see now the font style is italic. I can say font weight is somehow just say bolder. It will be bolder. Let me just say 900. So this is the highest font weight, and we don't see it in effects. Let me just make it very light. Let me say 100. I see now it's very light. It's very thin. It's like a normal text. 100. Let me just put it back at. Let me just remove this. So this is how you do inline styles. Another way of doing styling is by selecting them individually. So we're going to do that is by creating a style tag in your HTML. So that's what we're going to be doing for this site. We're going to create a style tag, and we're going to be attempting to style everything. So I'm going to say one thing. So you can what we do first of all is by creating like a default styling for all the elements you're using. So this style means all the elements in my HTML, every single element is just going to do that. So I'm going to say border. I'm going to say box sizing. We do this normally as a precaution, or especially when you're trying to add margins and so if I say box sizing is border box, I'm going to say margin 0, although it's not really needed because we're still going to manipulate it, but I'll say margin 0, padding 0. So everything will not be mixed, like everything is clunked together very tightly. And this is very mixed things, very interesting. So let's see what we can do. So now we have this header elements. I can come here to this header elements that we have here, and I can see that the header element, the H1 tag there, I can see that the text align should be in the center. So I want to see the title to be in the center. So you can see now the title is now in the center. And let me try and change the color now. Let me see how it will work. So if I say the color of this should be blue, would that work? No, it won't work. Even if I say header, I'm going to come into this. Do you know why it didn't work? And somebody explain why it did not work. Amanze, you're still here, Abi? Can you explain why this guy did not work? Making making this thing blue did not work. Can you explain why?
Sorry. Is it changing the name to blue?
The color, yes. Why did it not work? Like if you
Please
look
let
at the
me see
code,
the code. Let me see the code.
look at this guy. This is red here. This is blue here. Why didn't it work?
I think he applied it the wrong place. It's not where it's supposed to apply it.
So where should I
Yeah.
apply it to?
Inside the H1 where you have is this red that you're changing to blue. So it's supposed to come here where you applied red and change it to blue.
And what if I do this? If I create each one and I'll see that the color should be red, blue instead. Let me just do this. Will this work? Let me just remove this one and I'll say blue. It not work still. Although this one changed to blue, this other H one changed to
Yes,
blue.
it's
This one
not the
is not
target. What you're changing is this one. So you have to apply it where it is for it to work.
okay. Okay, you're close. But let me explain why it did not change. You want to know why it did not change?
Yes.
So in CSS, it's called CSS is called cascading style sheet. So in CSS, a style can override on our style, or can override on our style. What it means that a style can override on our style is that if a style is existing before and another style, one other style is there, that style can say that style that was existing before is now null and void. Let me just show you an example. So I'm going to create this H1 again, and I'm going to say the color of this H1 is green. So now you can see now that the color of this is green. Even though we have blue here, what CSS did is first of all, let's see how this went. Let's check the elements. Let's inspect. So we're going to inspect. Can you guys see this? Let me see if I can zoom into my inspection. If you guys look here in this stuff here, you can see now that this green here in line 17, like we have line, is it line 21? Why is it the same line 17? It's line 21. Whatever. Okay, line 20, sorry. Line 20. This green, this H1 line 20, this stuff, line 20. Are you following? Overwrite this one. You can see that this one is striked out, like it's
Ruled
cancelled.
out, yes.
Yeah. But if I say, okay, let me just cancel this guy out, you can see now that this guy is blue. Are you following? If I put this guy
Yes.
back, it's there. So if I remove this guy from here, what CSS did is like look for the latest design, latest style. Are you following? The latest style, the one that comes like at the end of the file. Are you following? The latest one? It doesn't look for the first one, it looks for the last one. Whatever the last style is what it to take. Are you following?
Okay, yes.
You get? All right. There's a way around this, but we'll get to that. But now let's look at this element now. This one, this particular element. So if we come here, pick on this guy, we see as changing this to green did not work. Changing this to blue did not work. Changing it to green also did not work. But the blue did not work. But you can see what you call element of style. Are you following? Element of style. What this means is that the element style, that means the inline style, overrides anything. If you like, fight to thy kingdom come. This guy will never win. Even if I say Ash important, let me say important. Will this win? Okay, unless I use important, that's when it's all right. But if I come here and also put important here, unless I put important, all right. So if you want to overwrite what is written in the styles, if you want to overwrite this, like you want to say, no matter what, this blue here should not change for anything. You just have to come here and say important. So if you say important, you see this style is very important too. Don't change it for anything. Are you guys following? Someone has a question. Amanda, you're raising up your hand. You can go ahead and ask
Yes.
the question.
Yes, there's something you did now that is very interesting. When you added that important, something happened.
All right, so I'm going to explain what important did. So what important does is that important makes this guy more priority, makes it CSS gives this guy more priority, give a particular element design, do you understand? A particular CSS style more priority than the rest. So what happened is that, let's say you have VIP guests now coming in. Are you following? Okay, so let's say you're in somewhere now. You're saying like the last person to like do something will be the one to get it. So you get last person to do something will be the one to get it. Now, but somebody says like this stuff, oh, please reserve it from you. Do you get? Let's say like you're in a shop now, people are asking for price. Are you following? And the person says, as people ask for price, person will say, okay, I want to buy it later. Like someone will call you. Let's say these guys are the people that are calling you to say they want to buy it later. Are you following? That they want to buy? Are you following? Now,
yes, I am.
Now you have these three people that they want to buy. These ones, yeah. These two, yeah. Those stay style tag as people that are calling you from outside your shop. Maybe they are calling you from their house. Are you following? They say they are coming, but they want to buy. So the first guy calls you. Are you following? This is the first person that calls you. Let me remove this important. Are you following? This is the first person that calls you. And now says, okay, I want to buy you. Reserve this thing for me. Says you now come and say, okay, I'm going to reserve. But this guy now comes again. Like this guy now comes after and says, please, I want to buy this, reserve it for me. So now you're not prioritizing. You said, okay, maybe probably this guy is not serious. You have another person that wants to buy. Since nobody has put money inside, say, okay, if this other guy comes now, I'm going to give it to this new guy that comes. Now, somebody that comes to your shop and says, I want to get this thing, are you following? Put this for me. Are you following? You now say, okay, no, like since I've not seen these people before, This guy that's my shop is more important than all of them. I saying this now.
Mm.
It's more important than all of them. So you're not going to make this guy take it. Now, but if this guy says, okay, please, I'm reserve it for me. And if anybody comes, I'm going to put a down payment. So this guy is like putting a down payment. So if somebody puts a down payment, are you following?
Mm.
Eh? Somebody puts a down
Mm.
payment on stuff, you have to reserve it for the person no matter what. Are you following?
Yes.
So now you
Yes.
have a down payment here. You can see this guy is blue, and nobody else can change design. Even this element of style, it cannot. This overwrite it. Since this guy, even though this guy came first, and the other ones have the rights to overwrite it. Since this important is here, they can't
Mm.
overwrite it. This guy would be a part of them all. Do you understand what I mean? So that's it.
Yeah.
Now, if I come here and I say, okay, this guy is also, I'm also important here. What will happen now is that this guy will not overwrite. Do you get? Maybe the guy in your
Mm.
shop also says, okay, he learns that somebody else, the first guy has put it down, like the first person that called you has put a down payment. And I says, okay, no, I'm putting money now. I feeling reserve it for me. I feeling this
Yes.
guy now seems important. So this one now not overrides this one because this one, do you get, is more like CSS to prioritize the one at the element level more than the one at the style tag level. Are you feeling? That's our
Yes.
priority. So
Thank
I'm just going to do this red. I'm going to remove this green. I'm just going to remove all of this. And I'm going to just leave it as black. So I'm going to say the color should be, I'm just going to use a particular shade of black. So let's say black. Let me just say generally the text color of the entire site is black. So I'm going to say HTML on my body. I'm going to style them together. I'm going to say the text color. Color means text color is black. That means the color of the text is black. If you want to change the background color, you say background color. And I can change the background color to whatever color I want. Maybe I'll say aquamarine. So I will choose aquamarine here. I can see now the background color has changed to aquamarine. But let me just use something like white. Let me use white smoke. It's not white. It's not too white. It's just there. It's not very white. It's not also pure white. I feel in white smoke, which is I like it because you understand it's very pleasing. It's more pleasing to the eyes. Although white is also okay. Um Now let's style this more. I'm going to say, okay, let's say the font family. So I'm going to change the font family of this. And you have what you call the normal default system font family. So I'm going to use this to make it more beautiful. So you have a beautiful font family. And this is like what you call system default. So what you just come here is just come to your this and just say, I can just write system UI. I like writing system UI. System UI. So if you just type system UI, it's going to change this to the UI of your system, like the particular UI. So Apple has a very fine UI, which is this Helvetica, Helvetica text, which is this nice UI you're seeing here. Now let's run along. Now I don't want these inline styles to be here, so I'm just going to remove them. So I don't want them to be here. Now this header, I want it to have like a padding around this. I'm going to say padding top. So padding is the space. I'm going to, don't worry, I'll just put padding first of all. So when you say 10 pixels, I'm saying padding bottom 10 pixels also. If I do that, I see now you have more space. This is not exactly at the edge of the website again. It's not at the edge of the top. You have more space from here to here, which is really it's a very good thing to have. Now we've styled the header. Now it's time to style this guy to make it look more like this website. We still have like 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes to go, and I think we can still cover um a lot of things concerning this website. So we have this guy to go, and this is where the main goal of context is: how to make this guy stay side by side. Um, but it's not hard. It's not something that is hard to do. It's actually something that is quite simple to do. So let's see what it is. So we want to know where is this elements? Where are these two elements located at? This one and this one. Where is it located at? Can we know where this is located at? So if you look at the design, if you check this our HTML, these two elements are located in our main, they're contained in our main element. Are you seeing this main element? That's where they are contained in. So what we're going to come here is that we're going to come here and say, this is main. Are you following? And to make sure that we are actually selecting the right place, I'm just going to add a background color of red. Let me just say light red, light, like any light color, light salmon. If I come to the site, I see now that we're selecting these two guys now. Now, there's something you call layouts. Are you following? By default, websites have a block layout. So I want to display this with a diagram. I hope I can display this with a diagram. So I'm going to go back to my Excalibur. So you have, by default, websites have different layouts. So depending on the kind of layouts and website you go to, you can see different layouts on the website. For example, now, a normal website stacks things from top to bottom. So you have things stacked from top to bottom. So this is what you call a block layout. I'm just going to say, type here, block layout. So this is a block layout. Now you have another different type of layouts. We have a different type of layouts. I'm going to put here, and we have things stacked side by side. Are you following? Stacked side by side. So you have what you call you have what you call a flex layout. Are you following? So this is what you call a flex layout. There's also different other types of layouts, and I think when we work on the recipe site, we're going to work on grid layout and some other stuff. So we have a flex layout. I'm also going to explain what a grid layout is also. Let me see where we can go to a grid layout. So now we have our final guy, and we have a grid layout. So if you guys know what the grid is, it's just like very simple picture. So you have a grid. Yeah, you just have like different shapes like appearing side by side with each other. So you call it grid layout, and how it is. This is what you call a grid layout. Multiple elements are you following the same container? Multiple elements in the same container. Flex layout, just one. All going in one direction. Block layout is stacked. Each of them is stacked on top of each other. In Flex, everything is stacked side by side in a particular direction, whether it's from left to right or from right to left or from top to bottom. And mostly they do Flex layout from left to right or right to left. Why you use grid for things like image galleries or smaller stuff where you want to do like you want to layer things out in a more like you want things to be layered in section things out very well, more properly. So we're going to use this. So I'm going to remove this stuff. So I'm going to say display. So I can say display. So you have different stuff. We have Flexbox, we have different things here, inline blocks, all this stuff. There's even Ruby. The most important stuff we need here is block, content. Don't worry, block, don't use contents. Contents will drive you crazy. Block, flex, grid. Then you have inline also. Although we're not doing inline, we don't need inline. You also have list item, which is something that is quite nice. But the most important one is grid, flex, block. Those are the most used ones. Those are used most often, and sometimes they're used in combination with inline, where you have inline block, inline flex, inline grid. It's supposed to be inline grid. Inline flex. Okay, there's no inline grid. Yeah, grid cannot be inline. That's true. So we're going to call this a flex. So we put it now. You can see that everything now is arranged side by side. You can see this guy arranged side by side. Now we're going to add a gap. So we're going to add a row gap to each of them. So we're going to write a row gap. I want spacing between this guy and this guy. So if we come to our design, we'll notice that there's a spacing between this guy and this guy. If we come to design, like, have you guys noticed the spacing? This guy has a different spacing of there's a space between this guy and this guy. Fortunately, say dev mode is for paid users. Nice one, Figma. So I'm just going to guess that this is 50 pixels. That's the margin around it, give or take. So Row gap 50 pixels. And did it work? Looks like it did not work. Let me check whether it worked. Didn't work. Doesn't seem like it worked. I don't think it worked. Nope, it did not work. The row gap is not effective. I'm just going to check for gaps in this thing. Yeah, I'm just going to use gap. Row gap is for grid if you want to specify grid. But since flex goes in one direction, you don't need to specify the row gap. So that's an important lesson there. So you have 50 pixels where you have this image at this side and this text here, which is very nice to have. Does somebody have a question?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and shoot your
So
question.
it said the row gap, when we are using flex, there's no need using row gap.
Yeah, why you don't need to use row gap in flex is because, let me explain. Flex and grid. Grid has both rows and columns. Are you following? Are you following?
Mhm. Yes.
Grid is bi-directional. So grid is bi-directional. So it has both x-axis and y-axis. Flex only has one single axis. Is that it's going in x direction or it's going in y direction? Are you following? Is that it's going vertically or horizontally? Most times it's horizontally it goes through. Are you following? So you don't
Okay.
need to say row, are you following, and columns. It's only grid that has rows and columns. Are you following? So you don't need to now start specifying where's the row, where's the column. Are you understanding now? So
Okay,
when you
yeah.
try
Okay, but we can use it. Can we use it in what is that one you called now?
grid,
Grid,
row
yes.
gap, yeah, we can use row gap in grid. You can imagine this is a grid. You can see it has two rows and it has like different, like, let me just say, let me just remove this guy. Let me just do like two rows and two columns. So I'm just going to repeat this, guys. This is a standard grid. It has two rows,
To
one,
call it.
one, and two columns, one, two. Are you following? Why
Mm.
in flex you only have like a row or a column? Are you following? Is that this is a row? Are you following? The flex direction is
Yes.
a row. Obviously, you can
Mm.
actually do the flex direction. So I can say the flex direction is column, which is to just do everything like straight. You can see now from top to bottom. Or I can say the flex direction is row, and I'll say maybe in reverse. So you can see that the image will come first before the text. And there are different stuff, but I'll just put this aside and say this is like how I want it to be like. All right, so I don't like the way everything is just touching everything. So I'm just going to say that I want to justify content at the center. Let me see that whether that will work. That did not work. All right, so I'm just going to add padding at both sides. So I'm just going to add padding. So if you want to add padding everywhere, let me just add padding like for each side. So I'm going to say padding. If you want to add padding everywhere in general, you can just use padding. And I'll say padding in general should be 40 pixels. So you can see now it doesn't start exactly at the edge, and there's a space between all of this. And I can say align items. Like I can say align them to the center where this will be in the middle, and you can see this text and all this kind of stuff. So now we've worked on this design, no matter how it is now, although this is not really fine, but we can still improve this more as we go on. When we're done with like the major things we're doing, we'll just work on improving them. If you guys are following. So yeah. So worked on this main guy. I have this guy looking like this. We have this almost looking like the website we have in our design. This is just it. Um let's now work on the footer. So we have a footer. So let's going to work on the footer. I'm going to say that so now you can work on position. Sometimes you want the position to be in a particular area. So if you want the position to just be in a particular area and not move, you can see the position will be fixed. By that, the position is fixed and this is saved. It didn't move anywhere. So I didn't go anywhere. Is there a footer in my work? This footer. Okay, let me just say top 0. So if I say top 0, it goes to the top. Yep. So if you say fixed, if you scroll your website, no matter how much you scroll, and no matter how much this website moves, but I want this guy to be at the bottom. So that's why I say fixed, and I'll say bottom 0. So now this footer is at the 0. You can see the footer elements at the 0. I'll say on that thing, I'll say I want a padding from the bottom. I don't want it to be exactly at the bottom. I want a padding of 10 pixels. Yeah, you have this now. Now I'm in this footer now. I want to select this UL element inside. Okay, we're done with the major. So now we're done with the major aspects of this site and the outer components of this our website we're making. So if we come to design, we're done with the outer components, at least the outer components of everything. Now let's go in depth into each and every element. Now, we want everything to make sense. We want this guy to be exact, like look exactly like the way it is on design. We want everything to look exactly like the way it is. So I'm just going to come here. The height is 33 pixels. And I'm just going to come here to this thing. So we have this H1. Now, how do we know which H1 to select? So if I say come here and if I come here and say H1 and I'll say font size is 33 pixels. Well, I think 33 pixels is too small. Yeah, it's too small. I mean, is it big? If I say font size is 33 pixels, we'll see at this size here. We come to if we come here and inspect, if we come here, we'll see this font size is 33 pixels, and we'll see that this font size is also 33 pixels. But I don't want this font to be 33 pixels. I want it to be different. I want it to have a different value. I don't want this to be 33 pixels. I don't want this guy to be 33 pixels. I only want this guy to be 33 pixels. I only want to select this guy. There are two ways you can go around it. Method number 1 is by going through the long process. Now, the long process is by doing this. It's not actually a long process. It's also like is an effective process. You can say main, and you say in that main, you go to section. Another section, you go to the H1 under section. This is what you call assigners. Are you from like specificity? You want to do like specific, you want to be more specific on the element you're doing. Are you following? So you can come here, go to this, and I'll now say that the font size is 33 pixels. Now we now have that this is different. So we have this is 32 pixels, and this guy obviously this guy is 33 pixels. So this guy is different from this guy. In fact, I'm going to come to this H1 and I'm going to say that I'm going to come also to the header and I'm going to select the H1 of the header. H1 of the header, and I'm going to say that the font size is let me just say 28 pixels. Let me not be too big. 28 pixels, which is quite okay. This is fair. Yeah, this is fair for your site. All right, so we have this. We have a space from here to here. I'll capture the space very well. Let me just use my head to like guess the space. So I can create a space from the bottom of this to the top of this text. So I'm going to say that the space like margin bottom, like the margin where you have margin, the spacing between an element and this thing. So one confusion people have is the difference between margin and padding. So let me just write this first. I'm going to go in through everything. So I can now see now that we have a space from here to here. We have a very nice space between these two guys. Now we have this font. This font is a little bit bigger than usual. Say 16 pixels. Are you sure this is 16 pixels? What is my font size? My font size is 16 pixels. Why is it telling us it's 16 pixels? This is not 16 pixels. Are you sure you're 16 pixels? All right, so the font size here is 16 pixels. I'm just going to the main. So we can do this, or another way to do this is coming to each element and giving it the class. So I want this element to have this now. I'll say class, I'll say content header, content header, content heading, and I'll say I'll use the class of content paragraph. So by using classes now, instead of going through all the stress of doing all this kind of stuff, I can just say content heading, and to be this to still maintain all the styles we had before. To maintain all the styles we had before. Now, I go to what we call content paragraph. What? Why don't I just have my locals? 550. Yeah, this is much better. You can see that this guy is not necessarily at the center. So I'm just going to come to this main and I'll say justify items, content center. So to be at the center. So now you have this guy at the center of everything, which is looking quite cheeky and nice. Yeah, it's great. Now, all right, so I'm just going to close this guy for now. I'm going to working from here. So why I'm doing this, because when opening Chrome and closing Chrome is always confusing me. So I just want to go through this process instead. All right, so we have something called line height here, and line height is said here is 32 pixels. So I'm going to come to I'm going to say dot content paragraph. Let's put paragraph here. Well, yeah, I did. Oh. I will say that the font size is 16 pixels. And I'll say that the line height is 32 pixels. So now if I increase line height, you can see that there's more spacing between each line of the word. There's more space. And this is actually very good, especially if you're making like to make it more readable, you need like line height. You need line height is just the space between each line. Are you following each line? What the space between each line of a website of a paragraph. Now we have this button now. So I'm going to give this anchor tag a class of contact button. So I'm going to give the class of contact button. It's not a button like per se like a pure button, but we'll still call it a button. So I'm just going to say that this a tag. I'm going to say dot contact button. The first thing I'll do here is I'll say that the appearance is none. Let's say appearance is none. Does that work? Nope, it doesn't work. All right, so I'm not going to do this instead. So first of all, I'm going to add, this thing has a background color. You can see that this button has a background color. It has like a shape, it has a background color, it's wrapped around something. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to add a background color to it. So the background color is, we have this particular color here. So I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here. So you have a hex code. Hex codes can also represent colors in a website. So hex code, you can either write the color in text or you can write it in hex code. So the font color, the color of the font is white. I'm thinking that the color of the font is white. I'm going to make it white. So we have white. Now this doesn't look good. It looks like a button, quite all right. But does it look like a good button? No. I forgot to do one more thing. I'm supposed to add the space between this and this. I'm just going to add a space. I'm going to say margin button. I'm going to give it more space. 16 pixels. Come here. Everything is shaping up to look like the original website we have here. So we still have like 15 more minutes to go. So let's see what we can capture in 15 more minutes. So I'm going to add a padding around it. I'm going to add a padding to this from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to add a padding. Now I'm going to show you how to add padding top to bottom, left to right. So I can see top to bottom is 8 pixels, left to right is 3 pixels. Sorry. 3 pixels top to bottom, left to right is 8 pixels. You always want more space in your design. So now you can see here, it's not really spacing like that. So I'm going to say maybe 10 pixels, and here should be 16 pixels. Oh, this is nicer, but we can actually make it better. So I'll say 12 pixels, 20 pixels. Nice. Nice. This is much better for a button. Now we have this underline button, but if we look at this, if we look at our design, there's no underline here. So we want to remove it. If we want to get rid of it. So we'll come to our design. I'm going to come and remove that. So we're going to remove the underline. So I'm going to say text decoration is none. So I don't want the text decoration on it. So when you come here, I just want to click on the button and just get going. Now, what other stuff can we do to make this look more like it? One more thing that is needed is to add okay, so the padding was actually written here. So I'm just going to copy the padding from here. I know this thing works. Nice, you have to relate. Wait, just 12 by 24. I was actually close by using my head to try and guess it. Yes, 12 by 24. So I'm going the border radius. We're going to work on the border radius. So I'm going to say the border radius. That's the curve around it. Border radius is 16 pixels. I'm going to add so it now has curves, which is nice. And I'm going to reduce the font size a bit. I think the font size is a bit too big. Yeah, I'm going to reduce the font size. I'm going to say the font size should be 14 pixels. So it looks like a very nice button. Click here to contact me. So you can now click on this button and contact. So now I want to add my mail, like a way of contacting me. So a way of doing that is if you come to this H1 tag, this anchor tag, you can actually create something that you can actually add a link to your mail. So by doing that, you just type mail to, and if you type mail to, let me say Emeka Allison4 at gmail.com. Did I get this right? Doesn't look like I got it right. Let me see. Only my code editor. Close this guy. So this guy doesn't open again. Quit. Yes, it works. See, I can open this will open my browser. This will open my email. I don't have my email enabled on my site, so it's trying to open a browser that opens emails, which I won't enable. But if you have this on the phone, this will obviously open like the email app of the phone, which is something that is very cool. I'm just going to add like more space here. I just think that the space in here is too small. I think this is okay. This is cool. This is fine. This is all right. So we have this guy. It's looking very scrumptious, looking very nice. Now let's work on this last guy. That guy. I want to work on each and every one of this guy to make sure it looks quite nice. To make sure it looks nice. Make sure it looks nice. So we want to work on each and every one of them. So what I'm going to come here is I'm going to come here and say, I'm going to use the class of social links. So I hope I spell my social links. Is it I hope is this a spelling? Let me check Google.
Yes, you're correct.
Social.
You're correct.
Okay, I'm so correct. All right. So social links. So I'm going to come here to this class of social links. I'm going to say social links. And I'm going to say that the display should be flex also. I say display should be flex. Come to the our site, we have our display to reflex, but we have the dots everywhere. I don't want the dots. So I'm going to say list style is none. I don't want any dots in my website. No, brother. Ew. So now I'm going to say that the width of this stuff. So I'm going to use the full width. So I'm saying 100%. So the width is that the length from left to right. I'm going to say 100%. Why I'm doing that is because I want all the content here to be at the center. So what I'll just come here and do is I'll just say justify content to be at the center. So once I do that, nothing happened. Why didn't anything happen? Hmm. No, I'm going to say inline flex. Oh, I know why didn't nothing happened. The footer itself, the footer itself doesn't have a full width. So I'm going to say the width of this footer is 100%. That's why nothing happened. I didn't notice anything. All right. So now it's at the middle. It's going to be at the middle. Tala, when you make something fixed, it has a small, it's just the shape becomes flexible. It doesn't really feel from left to right. It just stays at the particular corner. So you have to increase the width by yourself, which is kind of like a lot of work. But getting it done is still like a lifesaver. So I think it has spacing. So I'm going to add a gap around them. So I'm going to say gap should be 20 pixels. Now, so I have a gap around this. I don't like the fact that these shapes are too small. So I'm going to just do something about it. No, I'm just going to make you an image. Image HRC is equals to Twitter. Alt tag is Twitter logo. Still remains the same. I'm going to increase the distance of the social link. So I'm going to say I'm going to use a class of link image. In fact, I'm just going to use all of them. So I'm just going to use a shortcut. The shortcut I'm going to use here is Control D. If you're using a Mac, it's Command D. I'm going to use the class of social image. Save. And I'm going to copy this social image class. So I need it for something. So when I copy this class, I'm going to say dot social image. I'm just going to paste. I'm going to increase height and width. I'm going to say height is say 20 pixels, width should be 20 pixels. I do that, it's a little bit bigger than it used to be. Let me increase it more. I think this is like it's way too small still. Say 28. I think 28 pixels are okay for them. 28 pixels. Yeah, just like explode a little bit. Let me just say 24. That's why you use SVG. You can see that SVG didn't blow out, but PNG and the other guys blowed out. So if you want to use icons, always make sure you use SVG for the icons. But this is just it. This is what the website is all about. Obviously, I can add my social links here. So let me just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just to add my social link. I'm just going to wrap all of them around in an anchor tag, and I'm going to put this guy inside it. So for each image, I'm going to wrap them in an anchor tag. An anchor tag is just for specifying links. So you can link to different page, can link to a website, can link to an email, can link to an SOS, you can link to a phone number. In fact, you can even link to a phone number, like it will call the phone number for you automatically. Can link to a phone that you can send text to the phone. You can do so many things. HTML can do so many things, and it's quite easy to learn. So I'm just going to say that the href here is going to be HTTPS. I'm just going to add a link to my Twitter. So if you guys want to contact me on Twitter, you can do that. Ali Emeka on Twitter. We have just 5 minutes left, so I just wanted to see if I can get this done. I'll say the target is blank. So what this does is like opens a new page. It opens a new page in the browser. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Copy this, come here, paste it. I'm just going to change this to Instagram. I'm not going to do anything for WhatsApp. If you guys want to contact me there, you're on your own. I'm going to say href for GitHub. Go and check out my GitHub. I'm just going to paste this guy to github.com. And this guy, instead of being Ali Emeka, is actually Ali. Okay. And now if we click on these links, this opens, this works. So if you click on each of them, it takes you somewhere. This will take it to Instagram, and this will take it to Twitter. So with that, we come to the end of everything. We're able to work, at least replicate to a certain degree. It's not perfect. Well, there are still a lot of things we can do, but it's quite okay. In fact, there's something I can do here. I can actually add a max width. I can add a max width here of like 300 pixels. So it doesn't come too big. It's too small. Say 500 pixels. Yeah, this is cool. And obviously I can add a height to the main. So I can add a height of a mean height of let me say 60 VH. All right, so it comes down a little bit. Let me say 70 VH. All right, so it comes down a little bit. So this is like the website you can see. I think this VH was actually nice, maybe nicer. So this is the website you can see. Somewhere close to what we have here. Not perfectly like that, but it looks like in fact, I think this one is even better. So in terms of what we have here. So I think with that, we come to an end. We still have 3 minutes to spare. But yeah, I promise that we're able to build the website from start to finish in 2 hours, and we're able to do that. Let's see where we can host really fast. So I'm going to go to Netlify. So Netlify is a platform for hosting websites. So it's called netlify.com. So it's a platform where you can host websites for free. And in case you start building websites, you want to start hosting, you don't pay for hosting, you want to just host the website for free. Although I pay for Netlify because I do other very important projects on Netlify. But you want to host, you can host with your GitHub. You just need to log in with your GitHub account or GitLab if you use GitLab or Bitbucket account. Yeah. Don't mind Netlify, I'm owing them money. But let's add a new site. So we're going to click on add a new site. So you can see this button, add a new site. So I'm just going to say deploy manually. So it's going to say I should drag and drop a folder. So I'm just going to come to my this thing where the app will just the app we just created. I'm just going to look for it. It's in projects, it's in profile websites, and this is where we have it. So it's here. I'm just going to come and paste it here. La 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 la. We sing some song. It's going to take some time to deploy. And it's deployed very fast, very cool and very fast. I can open it, and this is live. So I can send you the link and you guys can check it out. This is how it's very fast to deploy a website. So right now, from start to finish, we're able to make a website, we're able to deploy it on Netlify. So we can come here. I just want to let me change the name of this domain. I don't think it's really nice. Site overview. How do I change the domain name again? Site configuration, sorry. No. Site overview. How do I change? Customize, yeah. site name and thumbnail. So I'm going to say this is Ali Emeka profile. This is unique. Save. Yep, as a screenshot of my site. Come and click here. It's very nice, simple and short. We just created a website from scratch. This. So I'm just going to do something. I'm going to present. Amanza, you have a question?
Yes, please. Can you help us drop the link on the WhatsApp, our group?
All right, I'm going to do that. Why should we drop it? They joined class.
I drop send to me now. I need the link.
All right, I'll link send it. All right, I'm just going to share this here. So now you can see that we have this website here. So I need this because I want to take a screenshot. We built a website from scratch, like I promised. So based on what we had in the design, we were able to build it in 2 hours, build a website from scratch. Normally it would take me less than 30 minutes to build this website, but because I was explaining a lot of things and just talking about a lot of stuff, we have this, but we have a website fully functional. You can click on this, you can click on any of these links and it will take you to where you want to go. Like I want to go to email, you can take you to my email. You want to go to my want to check out my Twitter account, my Instagram, my WhatsApp, which I didn't put a link there. And check out my GitHub, something like this. Just very simple and short, easy to get a hand of. So yeah, this is really cool. I'm just going to add the link we just built. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to put a screenshot of what we did. So I think from time to time we're working on like more complex, more difficult projects. But yeah, with some minutes to spare, I think with like 2 minutes to spare, we're able to build a site from start to finish. In fact, I wasn't explaining a lot of things, so we didn't start working like right from them. I took like 30 minutes to explain a lot of things. So it took us 1 hour, 30 minutes in essence to actually build the site from start to finish with all the explaining I was doing. So we have a very simple site built from start to finish. It's just very simple to get started with web development. It's not really hard. And yeah, so if we have a code, a very distinct code, I just think it's just going to be very simple to actually be able to build a website from scratch using the knowledge that we spread here. So you're just using HTML, CSS, we're able to build a simple website that looks very nice. Yeah, based on the design that was given to us. So that's it for the class. Does anybody have any questions? Any additional question? I want to end the class. No questions. Okay. No questions. Let's call it a day. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm just going to share. Stop recording.